everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from steamy hot Salt Lake City, Utah.
It's Thank God I'm Atheist,
The podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up on the show today, Dan, the world is ending. And what to do about it.
It is. That is a fact.
In so many ways. It's actually, like, in so many ways, the world does feel like it's ending.
It feels like it. It feels, well, or like life as we knew it seems to be gone.
Well, and literally, like, if the Christian end of the world came and happened this year, I'd be like, yeah, it's 2020. That's about right.
Seems about right.
Seems
all right.
about right.
Yeah, you know what? You know the worst part about that would be? Finding out that Christianity was right all this time.
Not eternal damnation.
No, that would not be the big blow to my system. Would be what? That piece of nonsense.
Shit.
Are you out of your mind? That was the right one.
Yeah,
it would be very, very disconcerting.
Yeah, of all the religions, that turns out to be the right one.
Right.
And then which one? Right. It can't just be blanket Christianity. Sorry.
Well, yeah, they're mostly the same, theologically speaking, anyway.
Well,
it's just grumpier and less grumpy versions.
All right. Well, Dan.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with a story about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
The Mormons?
The Mormons.
Them from which we done sprung?
Headquartered right here in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
The church leadership has recently, they sent out a letter to all the members in Utah. So this wasn't like directly from like the president of the church.
The prophet himself.
Yeah. It wasn't even from like the quorum of the 12, Dan. This was from the area presidency.
Okay.
So these are the
assistant to the regional manager was what you're saying.
No, literally the regional manager.
Oh yeah, it's the regional manager.
It's
That's
literally the regional manager. So the regional management of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints sent this letter out asking members of the church to wear masks in public.
Yeah.
And to, quote, be good citizens and to help promote the health and general welfare of all.
Now, before you go any further, I want to point out that Mormons, in general, are obedience-driven humans. It's an authoritarian religion. Yeah. It is a top-down, do not question the authority religion.
Right. But in a lot of ways, sometimes I think the church knows when to be quiet and knows when not to be, right? Like,
well, yeah.
Normally they say things that they know are going to go over well, right?
Yes.
If you know anything about Utah and our general response to COVID-19, it hasn't been good. Has not been good. In fact, in a lot of ways, it's been problematic. We've got that strain of like right wing nut job here in that doesn't want to be told what to do. Right?
Yeah.
In fact, and this is choice, I actually saw something on a related story that had a picture of a mask that somebody had written, "My body, my choice."
Yeah.
And I was they think
they're so clever.
Nonetheless, and of course, the Utahns of that stripe tend to be Mormon, right? So this hasn't necessarily gone over well. Basically, we haven't seen more people wearing masks because of the church urging people to wear masks. What has caused people to wear masks are national chains like Kroger and Walmart, etc., and Target, all saying that you have to wear a mask in their store. Okay, well, okay. Finally, right? And Salt Lake County, as soon as Salt Lake County was allowed by the state to put in a face mask rule, like law,
mandate,
right? A mandate, order, I guess, actually, probably. There was almost like immediate compliance. It was amazing. Like, it was overnight. Like, it wasn't 100%, obviously, but
right.
like the places that I go, it was a noticeable and dramatic difference, right? I mean, that's what these things do. You place an order, you put an order in place, and people comply. Well, nonetheless, didn't work with the LDS Church. They seemingly are out of touch with their membership on this. This article,
and we've seen this multiple times. We saw this when the church provided, when they brought a bunch of missionaries home and provided instructions for people how to, what they were to do when they picked their missionary up, which were summarily ignored.
Yeah. I honestly it almost is like the church feels like at this point to be the crotchety old man on the block, right? Or like your grandparents, right? That maybe not that might actually be wrong. Just your grandparents who just are like, "Oh, come on. You don't know what you're talking about," right? That's almost like their reaction, the membership's reaction at this point. Of just like, they don't know what they're talking about.
And if Grandpa really gets mad and insists, everybody will roll their eyes and comply. But
right, which is going to church. They have to wear masks when they go to church, right?
It's so funny.
But they won't do it. They will not do it when they're just out in public on their own.
It's amazing. And when that news hit, I of course went to very Mormon sources like the Deseret News, which is the church-owned newspaper, and I jumped right to the comment section because I wanted to see what was happening. Are they accepting this or are they rejecting it? Because it's literally like the organization that they believe the most telling them to do something that they have foursquare set their mind against. And it was shocking to see how many Mormons, because Mormons don't disobey the brethren. They don't.
Yeah.
So many Mormons going, well, this isn't from the prophet, so I don't have to listen to it.
Yeah, looking for any excuse, right?
It was amazing to me.
Yeah. No, there's actually a thing, I think, where, and I wonder what you would think about this, but just, it's almost like their political identity might be more valuable to them than their religious identity.
I don't think they separate the two.
They clearly are. In this one, they clearly are, because their political sensibility right now is that by wearing a mask, you'd be giving into the leftists, right?
Right.
And that you would be betraying your true blue, your conservative,
Republican
ideology.
bona fides.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so I think that their political ideology beat out their Mormonism.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking.
Yeah.
It's kind of shocking, to be perfectly honest.
So, and we're speaking pretty blanket about the Mormons right now.
That's because they are a unified single entity.
It's the Borg.
It is the Borg. It's the morgue.
It's the morgue. Resistance is futile. Obviously, there are sort of, not crazy Mormons who are out wearing masks, but it does feel like the vast majority of Mormon suburbia is just not caring about this at all.
Yeah, it's kind of it just means that this plague is going to be in Utah, problematic in Utah for a long time.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to take us from Utah to Cleveland, Tennessee. See, you thought I was going to do the other Cleveland. No, Tennessee, where lies the Westmore Church of God, which is a nice big church. One of those. I don't know if you'd call it a mega church, but it's huge. And they were one of these churches that decided they were going to have in-person. Here's the thing. I feel for them. They were opening up. They had the grand opening of a brand new building that they had built for their church.
Okay.
But then this goddamn COVID got in the way.
Oh,
well,
man.
They weren't going to let that stop them. So back in May, end of May, they decided they were going to celebrate this grand opening anyway, and they were going to have a huge in-person gathering with the choir and shoulder-to-shoulder people, and I guess they were going to be protected by the blood of Jesus, and that was it.
How do I get some of that?
Right? Yeah, well, turns out doesn't work. This was... I mean, we've known this for a while. There have been so many reports of pastors dying from this thing. But in this case, they got together actually twice. That was on May 31st, and then on June 22nd, they had another huge in-person gathering. We're talking a few hundred people, several hundred people. Well, June 24th, which was 2 days after the second gathering, their lead pastor announced they had a COVID-19 case in the congregation.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's sad.
No.
Of course, then the day after that, 12 more confirmed cases.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Can you guess where we're going with this? Guess how many they're reporting now? You can't tell because they've stopped keeping track. It was too depressing.
They couldn't count that high?
They said, we gave up on keeping count. It was too...
But what number had they hit?
I don't know, but
that's
it
just
seems...
a dodge. Because it's one thing to be like, we stopped counting at 500, right? Because then that gives you like an idea. But if it's just like, we just gave up after 20,
Yeah,
like
no. The pastor said in a radio interview, quote, "I do not know the exact number. I don't even know. I wouldn't even know within a range. I do know that it is way too many, and we've got to live and learn from it. And so we gave up on keeping account."
We have to live and learn. All right.
Well, and they have learned a little bit. Pastor Page did say that when he was asked if he had any regrets, he said he wished he had more strongly stressed the importance of wearing masks. Or why don't you try wishing that you had not fucking had the meetings like idiots? How about that? The ding-dongs. It's kind of amazing. Yeah. It was an outcome nobody could have predicted, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know how anybody...
You would have needed, maybe a prophet.
Yeah.
Somebody...
Special, magic.
Yeah.
If you had some sort of fortune teller,
yeah,
you could have maybe been able to see this coming.
Amazing. All right. Well, Dan.
Yeah.
With everything going on in the world, it is still surprising to me that airplanes are flying.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but I don't know why. It just seems like such a bad idea.
Before COVID-19, I would have said, people got to get to places, but do they?
I don't think so.
You don't got to get to places. You're okay.
Yeah, we've got FaceTime and Zoom and
stay put for half a minute. Jesus,
I'm good. I don't need to go anywhere. Anyway, but they are flying, and a recent flight leaving Seattle, the SeaTac airport, right? Had to turn around because a man had become belligerent and physically aggressive while the plane was still climbing.
Oh God!
This was very early off in the flight, and the article that I read about this doesn't mention the real true nugget that I thought was amazing about this. It only says that he was walking in the aisle and shouting that he would kill everyone on board in the name of Jesus. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch this video, right?
Okay.
Now he was wearing a face mask, so good on him, right? He's
you may want to kill everybody on board, but you don't want to get them sick. That's just rude.
So I watched the video, and this is the line that stood out. I had to write this down because, like I said,
Okay.
it wasn't in the article. So it says, "I will kill everyone on this plane if you do not accept that Jesus was a black man." So
what? Oh,
this guy, he was he was worked up about Jesus, about white Jesus. He was pissed off about white Jesus.
Is this
and the racism? It's a white guy.
But this
young
wasn't a
white
black guy.
No,
this
it was
was
a young white guy. and I kind of like when I saw him, like I was like, oh, he's just like kind of a early 20s kid, like who's obviously he looked kind of clean cut, and I was like, he's just recently had some sort of break with reality. Like there's something that just broke in this kid's head. So it's actually kind of really sad. But
here's what I will say.
Yeah.
These millennials and xenials have taken cancel culture too far when they've decided to cancel an entire plane of people. I just feel like you guys, let's dial it back a notch when it comes to murder of an entire plane full of humans.
I know, and it seemed like he was yelling. It looked like he was yelling this at a black man, which is also kind of just the whole thing is just. I mean, I don't know. These stories I always kind of feel like I want to bring them up on the show, and then like once I do, I'm always just like, that wasn't a fun one.
Well, I mean, okay, yes, he's probably suffering from some sort of mental illness,
so sad,
and that's not very fun.
Yeah,
but yeah, at least it's a novel approach to your psychotic break to decide that you're going to, with no apparent implement for actually killing everyone on the plane.
It was clear he had no weapon. A couple of passengers, two big dudes, took him down,
subdued him,
sat him down more than anything.
Okay.
And let me tell you, Dan, this is also what was probably more disturbing than anything is that plane was packed.
Yeah,
there were so many fucking people on that plane. Now they were wearing masks. Most of them. There was somebody in the video that wasn't. But it's just like, come off it, people.
Wow.
Anyway, there's so much that bothers me in that story.
Well, this is why we can't trust the libs.
I guess so.
Anyway, okay. I am going to close out with some good news. Honest to God, holy shit, good news.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Apparently, if you look at Humanist International's list of, they call it the Freedom of Thought Report, which ranks countries by how well they do respecting freedom of thought, freedom of religion, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Sudan does not rank high. Or I mean, they are like number 187 out of 196. They are about as low as you can get without being Saudi Arabia.
Right.
This is a place where for instance, if you leave Islam, the punishment for that is death in this place. Or it was. Because here's the thing. They have been considering for a while bringing some of their laws in line with sort of international human rights ideas. So there's good news. They are apparently some reforms have become law, which include non-Muslims being allowed to drink alcohol in private, which was apparently not okay. Yeah, and they can't do it out in front of everybody. That would be ridiculous. But you won't be arrested for it. You won't be put in jail if you're caught doing it.
Okay. Where do you get this stuff?
Where do you bring it from far away?
Duty-free shop on your way back into the country? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I still wouldn't do it if I were you. If you're going to travel to Sudan, I don't know how quickly I'd test any of these, but yeah, theoretically the law is that that non-Muslims are permitted to drink. There is no more apostasy law, so people who leave Sudan will probably only suffer,
Sudan
horrible
or
beating.
Islam?
Oh yeah, sorry. People who leave Islam in Sudan,
right,
will probably only suffer the repercussions of everyone they know, probably rejecting them and maybe being beaten. And
but you can have a drink,
right? Hey,
so
let me give you something for that eye, and here, drink this. There will be no more public floggings. Apparently, that was one of the punishments that they would dole out, and
only private floggings, probably.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. Right, floggings in the comfort of your own home. Women do not need their husband's permission to travel alone with their children, so that's a good thing.
Progress.
And this is a big one, I think.
Okay,
they're banning female genital mutilation.
That is a big one. That's an important one.
So I feel like those are not baby steps in my mind. Those are very big, important steps that are happening in Sudan. Apparently, there's their new Minister of Justice, Nasruddin Abdul Bari, is making waves. He's a young guy. He's only 41. That's suddenly young now. That feels very, very young. Yeah, so amazing stuff. That's really cool. Real progress happening. I mean, they got a long way to go.
Yeah,
but big steps happening there.
All right, well, that's good stuff. Dan,
yeah,
happy for Sudan. I'm gonna head on down to Brazil for our next story.
I like it. We're getting so exotic.
Woo! Where it sounds like basically one of their top beer brands, which is the name of it is Brahma, has drawn the attention of a group of activists, right, who have been pressuring. You'd actually talked about, I think, this group. They're sort of pressuring groups to remove their religious appropriation from their business, right? So, like you were talking about in the context of like nightclubs, right?
People putting up an image of a giant Buddha statue in the middle of the club because they thought it was funny or cute or whatever.
Or no, really fucking cool. That's what they thought it was. Right.
That's true.
Well, now Brahma, right, which is the name of a Hindu god, is drawing the ire of this same group. I believe it's probably the same group. And they want them to change the name of their beer. This is a brand that is owned by AB InBev, which is a massive global conglomerate of beer brands. They own like Budweiser, Bud Light, Corona, Stella Artois. It's a Belgian company that bought Anheuser-Busch a while back, right? Big. These people are big. That's what the AB is for, actually.
Right.
But nonetheless, Brahma was first produced. This is not a new brand, right? It was first produced in 1888 by Companhia Cervejaria Brahma. Yes. My Portuguese.
The Brahma Beer Company. Great.
Yeah. And they basically, I looked, I was like, well, like, are they referencing, like, in their marketing, like, this Hindu god, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it. And the labels don't have anything to do with it. And according to Lucas Rossi, who's the head of communications for AB InBev's Latin America subsidiary, the beers were actually named to tribute Joseph Brahma.
Oh dear.
An Englishman who invented the draft pump valve.
Wait, not the Hindu creator god?
Which just, and literally, again, doesn't look like they reference that at all. They also don't reference this Englishman either.
Oh.
It literally is just big, bold letters that say Brahma. Now, Joseph Brahma is spelled slightly differently, but apparently for branding purposes, to make it work better with the Portuguese language, they just moved the H from one spot to another. Which I don't know how likely that sounds as an. I'm not sure about that one.
It may be an excuse.
It might be a little bit of an excuse.
They might be bullshitting.
Been really clever here with their little exception, but it really draws into question, like, even let's say the whole inventor of the tap whatever story is just bullshit, right? Right. And for whatever reason, somebody in 1888 decided to name a beer after a Hindu god. And then subsequently, the brand has doesn't reference that god at all, right? Is it still, it's a name at a certain point, right? Don't you think you guys can just, it's not like they're marching the Hindu god around touting their beer. It's right. Exactly what you would expect for beer marketing for a major national brand. It's a bunch of women in bathing suits, right?
Well, I can see how that might be also offensive. I don't know. Frankly, what it should happen is somebody should produce Jesus brand beer.
Absolutely.
And make their mascot be Jesus and just go all the way with it.
Yeah. I think so.
You could try Muhammad beer, but I don't think you're going to do well. I think something bad is going to happen to you.
Just don't include his image.
A picture of him.
And you'll be fine. That's all the Muslims care about.
Yeah, that's true.
You could really have some fun with Jesus beer, right?
I think, yeah. Or maybe it's Jesus wine, and it's made of water. Add your own Jesus. It's just water. It's just bottled water, and it's called Jesus wine. That would be funny.
That's funny.
All right. Well, since we're getting all kinds of crazy exotic, I'm going to take us to the mystical lands of Turkey, where a thing has just happened. Now, I don't. Have you heard of the Hagia Sophia? Hagia Sophia. I don't know how it's pronounced.
Absolutely. I think it's Hagia.
Hagia. Yes, correct.
Yeah. Absolutely. I remember this from art history class in in college. Absolutely.
It's a stunning building. Yeah. And what it was a cathedral originally. 6th century.
Byzantine. Yes.
Went back a long ways, and it's freaking gorgeous.
Yeah.
Now, during the Ottoman Empire, Istanbul was, of course, taken over by Muslims.
Was it Constantinople? Was it?
Oh, my God. Yes, fine. At that time, it was probably Constantinople. Now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople. So if you have a date in Constantinople, you'll be waiting in Istanbul. Anyway, they turned it into a mosque.
Right.
So for centuries, it was why can't I think of the word? An Islamic person is Muslim.
Yes.
Thank you. It was a mosque. I was like Hindu. No, damn it. That was the last story. Anyway, so it's been a mosque for a long time. And then for the last 86 years, it has been a museum. Mm-hmm. Now, I think that's a great idea. And Turkey's been largely, at least their government has sort of been mostly secular for a minute, even though the country is still very much a Muslim country. Now, things are a little bit different. President Erdogan, I don't know Recep Erdogan, how do you say his name?
Just focus on the Erdogan.
Erdogan
we
is
all
good
know
enough.
Who you're talking about.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, he's getting very Donald Trump about everything over there, and really playing to the Muslim crowd, and has pushed through a thing through the courts to make to stop it from being a museum and now it is back to being a mosque.
Wait, it is?
Yeah.
It is now a mosque again.
It's a mosque again.
Oh, fuck.
So, yeah, that's
fuck. Why did he do that?
It's just such an ugly, stupid idea. In part because what it stood as a museum was a coming together of the religions. You know, the whole idea was this yes, it was a church, and then it was taken over by, the Muslims, and then it was a thing. But they were sort of acknowledging all of the history of it at the same time. Well, now it's back to mosquing, and
oh my god!
And
what does
we're
that
sort
mean
of square
for
one again?
All of the, I guess no,
like
they
tourists
did.
And
no,
stuff?
they uncovered a lot of the old mosaic work, which was pictorial, right? But mosques, you can't have any kind of imagery like that. I'm looking at pictures. Yeah, here's like I can't. That looks like the Holy Family right there, I think.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm looking at a picture.
Mary, that's with Jesus.
Yeah.
Like baby Jesus.
I don't have any word actually on whether that stuff's coming down.
Well,
at this
hopefully
point.
they do. Or they just cover it.
You're right.
So at some future date, it can be uncovered again.
I love the legal trick that they used to get this through the court, which was that they claimed that the legal ownership of the building was to Sultan Mehmet II, of the Ottoman Empire in 1453. And therefore, they had no right to turn it into a museum.
Oh my god!
Needless to say, Orthodox Christianity is in a rage. Patriarch Bartholomew is claimed that this will turn millions of Christians across the world against Islam, like that hadn't already happened. And Patriarch Kirill of the Russian Orthodox Church said that it was he called for prudence and the preservation of the quote current neutral status.
Yeah. No, this is clearly intended to be a provocative act.
Yeah.
Right. Like you don't do this if you want, your people getting along with each other.
Right. Yeah, this is definitely a poke in the eye and a provocation. So that's fun. Don't you love it when people of with different imaginary friends decide to fight over it? Because who knows what'll happen? Could be nothing. Could be millions of people lose their lives. We'll see. We'll just see.
It's 2020. Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. Who knows? Anyway, if you'd like to send us a prediction as to what might happen when everything goes to shit, please write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click the like button.
And while you're there, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but we will let you in. Also find us on Twitter @TGIAtheist. Stick around for more show. Hey, Dan.
Hey!
So, Pat Robertson is officially an old man.
He is. Oh, and he's starting to sound like it, too.
Yeah,
you guys listening,
absolutely.
You'll hear it. This guy he doesn't have much longer on this earth, but while he's here, we can appreciate his wisdom. Because if there's one thing that he's willing to share, it's wisdom. And boy, let me tell you something. When you're 90,000 years old, your wisdom comes from a different time.
Yeah, it's one reason why you shouldn't listen to your elders, right?
Right.
This is proof positive.
Age does not equal wisdom let's hear what he has to say.
This first one comes from Jessica, who says, lately, I've been seeing my husband liking photos of other women on social media and complimenting them on their looks. He's telling them things he wouldn't dare say to a woman in front of me. This has been tearing me apart and makes me feel like I'm not good enough for him. It also makes me feel as if he's cheating on me by doing this. Am I wrong for feeling this way? Am I overreacting? I've been looking for a time to confront him about it, but I just can't seem to find a way to tell him. What do you suggest I do?
I suggest the best thing to do is to be so loving he cannot overcome the amount of love you're going to give him. Just be a wonderful wife. And the fact that he's a man and he appreciates beauty is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, that's the male way they are. They just appreciate beauty. But you be the one, you got the inside track. So you be so loving, he ain't about to leave you and go look at somebody else. Okay?
But do you think it's okay if he's telling them things online that he wouldn't say to a woman in front of her?
I don't know what he's saying to them online, but maybe he and his wife don't share the intimacy they need. And they need to, she needs to, look, you make him a man, you build him up, make him feel so good to be with you that he wouldn't think of anybody else. That's the way you do it. You've got the inside track. I remember playing football a long time ago. I missed a block, and the coach jumped all over me. I said, well, he got past me. He said, you had the angle on him. You know, you've got the angle on him, honey. You use it. You're there every night. It's your deal. Make it work, all right?
It's your fault.
It's just, look. I'm going to use a sports metaphor so that you were sure to understand what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what he was talking about.
I think it's wow. Just wife him better.
Yeah.
And you'll be all right.
Oh my God.
That is really solid. No mention whatsoever of communication with the man.
No.
Like that would be idiotic.
Right.
Don't talk to him about it.
Yeah.
Just
go have sex with him.
Make a better meal, man. Just don't bug him when he's on his Xbox.
Lure him in with your feminine wiles.
Yeah.
Oh, that Marion Gordon Robertson.
I know.
Pat.
His name is not Pat, everyone. It's not Patrick.
He's a liar.
It's all a lie. That guy, oh my gosh. And I love his helper lady, like trying to steer him back. No, don't
so
give
hard.
him. Do not give that advice. This is not okay. What this guy's doing. By the way, gentlemen, fellas, guys, stop complimenting women about their looks online. It's just gross. If that's all you're saying to anybody online, to any women online, you're gross. Don't do that. That's just a public service announcement.
Oh, good.
From me.
Thank you.
Yeah. The more you know. Do, 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 do.
Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, how I'm going to miss
Lord.
And not miss Pat Robertson.
When
Mostly
he dies,
not miss, but
he's going to make it. I'm convinced, just because of how 2020 is, that he's going to make it through this year.
He couldn't possibly give us that gift.
No, yeah. The 2020 is far too shitty for us to be able to celebrate anything like the loss of his insanity. Actually, I wouldn't celebrate. The truth is, he does such wonderful things for our show by being such a weirdo.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We had some folks write into us, which I love. And we'll start with Alistair, who wrote in and said, hey, Frank and Dan, still loving the podcast. Keep up the good work. I wanted to ask you about something I heard on episode 448.
Okay.
You were having fun with the ex-Mormon lady who was giving advice on how to be a better atheist. Technically, I don't think she ever said she was an atheist, but how to be a better ex-Mormon. Anyway, your conversation led to the Mormon alternatives to coffee and tea, soft drinks. You then pivoted to non-sugar-based drinks with aspartame. I know that aspartame is dangerous to a very small number of people. That's why they must write it extra large on the label. But I was confused by the, quote, nasty aspartame-laden soda comment. Her comment mentioned drinking coffee with so much sugar and cream, no one else would consider it healthy. I'm worried she might be right and you are wrong. And Alistair goes on to provide some links to some things about, how many people die of sugary drinks a year, and just all of that sort of thing, and mentions that he says, I've looked all over the internet and just can't find anything negative about aspartame, let alone that it might or ever has killed anyone. So I don't remember who said this.
You said it.
If it was me, then let me explain something to you.
I remember you saying it. I was like,
because I do think that aspartame is nasty, only because of the taste. I cannot stand artificial sweeteners.
Yeah,
I fucking hate them.
I agree. I think they taste horrible. But
believe me, I was not making a health claim at the time. I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to clarify that.
It did kind of sound a little bit like a health claim.
Oh no, not me.
But
I am 100%. I make no claims about that. I haven't done any research about.
And here's the deal for me with her whole thing about, and maybe we didn't. And I know we didn't really say this at all, which is coffee doesn't have to be sweet, right? Like,
no.
She's the one who's making it sweet. Coffee by itself, however if maybe you drink it black, maybe you put a little bit of sugar in it. Probably not the end of the world, right? Sweeten it up slightly. But I mean, she sounded like she's like just ladling in the sugar and cream.
Did you watch Did you watch The Tiger King?
I did, yeah.
Okay. There's a moment on The Tiger King where the two people pull up to a McDonald's and they order coffee, and they're like, it was like in a show full of shocking moments. It was one of the most shocking for me because the guy was like, okay, I just need two large coffee, one with 11 sugar and 12 cream, or it was like outrageous amount. Like by the time they got their coffee, there was only sugar and cream in it.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it was. I was completely blown away by that.
Yeah. I don't like sweet drinks at all, so that's horrifying. I keep my iced tea, no sweetener. My coffee, no sweetener.
All right.
That's all.
You're not a sweet tea guy. I don't like overly sweet things. I do a little bit of sugar. I think moderation is fine. I'll have soda every now and then. I don't drink it every day, but I'll have it every now and then, and I like it.
I think when I'm not gonna to a fast food like a Crown Burger. When I get a Crown Burger, I get a Coke or a Diet Pep or Dr. Pepper. Right? But I'm also having like a fast food burger. So a delicious fast food burger, but a fast food burger.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, keeping it all in moderation is fine. But yes, my comment about aspartame was solely because I want to vomit when I taste it. That's all. All right, Raymond wrote into us, Frank and Dan, a few weeks ago you discussed the National Cathedral. However, you did not mention the cool part.
There's a cool part?
Yeah. I looked at Raymond sent a picture of this thing, and it's amazing. It has a Darth Vader grotesque.
Really?
It's like a gargoyle, but it doesn't drain water.
Right, okay.
It's kind of nutty. I think that's really cool. So, yes. Raymond goes on, but I will say the National Cathedral pales in comparison to the Mormon temple here in D.C. It is spectacular.
Really?
Yeah, apparently. So, and I've heard this from multiple people, but Raymond says it well. There is a portion of the Beltway where it appears out of nowhere. It feels as if you're approaching the Emerald City in Oz. Well, definitely worth looking up. The DC temple. It does look kind of otherworldly and stuff. And I've heard that yes, you're just driving along on the Beltway, which is what they call a freeway. I don't know why they call it that. Anyway, so suddenly it just. Blah! There it is in front of you, and it's, yeah. So anyway, thanks for writing in, fellas. We really appreciate it. Do we have anyone to thank today?
We do indeed. We have a gaggle of new patrons on Patreon.
Well, gag away then.
Let's see. We've got 2 new deacons.
Well,
Dan, we
bless
have
my soul.
Riddle Me This and Anthony, both new deacons. So thank you
Wonderful.
guys.
Thank
for
you
your support.
so much.
We also have 2 new teachers. Dan.
Yeah.
We have Genevieve and Cleopatra.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Wow.
And we have 2 new priests, Coyote Stardust
Nice.
and Sue.
And Sue.
And
Okay.
Sue. So thank you to the 6 of you
my
for
goodness.
your support. What these fine folk did, they went to thankgodimatheist.com and clicked on the support tab and followed it on over to Patreon and signed up. And that's how you could do it too. We're actually inching super close to our big goal of going completely ad-free. So we're just a handful of supporters away at the moment. So if you could mosey on over, we'd surely appreciate it. And as always, we have our top donor, our Lord and Savior, to thank, Davis.
Amazing. Well, you guys are awesome. We sure do appreciate you. More show to come.
Hey, Dan.
Hey.
I recently found out something. The world is ending.
Yes. You told me
apparently-
this. I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels obvious at this moment in history, but you're never sure that it's the end of the world until some crackpot tells you.
Yeah, well, the latest crackpot du jour. Have you heard of that that couple up in Idaho that it was like her kids and his stepkids, right? So he's not
right.
But anyway, two children that went missing, right? And then all of a sudden she's like in Hawaii. And
hiding.
everybody's like, what the fuck's going on? And right now they've been arrested and they're facing a bunch of charges. Murder doesn't seem to be on the list yet. They found the kids' bodies in her yard.
They're working on it. They'll get it there. I'm pretty sure.
They're working. They've got some stuff that they can very easily pin on them at the moment, and so they are. Well, anyway, she and I'm kind of blanking on her name at the moment.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I am too. I never.
Daybell Vallows. I think she's the Vallows.
Chad Daybell.
Yeah.
And Lori Vallow.
Yes. Well, Lori, is something of a prognosticator, and she has predicted that the Earth is coming to an end, just like next week on the 22nd. I think well, it was right.
Looks like hers is, but apparently that's going to happen for all of us.
Yes, we're all included in the end of her world. I don't know if she specifically has linked this up to Neowise, the comet that appeared earlier this year that got the attention of some other religious groups. There's let me see. There was another group that is saying that the Earth is going to end in September, like September 1, but they're also using they are definitely using the appearance of Neowise as kind of like the sign in the heavens, right? And
sure.
when you think about this year, we have pestilence, right?
Yeah.
We have signs in the heavens, right?
We got it all, baby.
We have an antichrist. We have multiple antichrists, right?
Sure. Of course, you're referring to Barack Obama, obviously.
Clearly. And so, I get that if this has been your thing, right? If you have belonged to some sect or cult that has been waiting, or mainstream religion, quite possibly,
right,
that has been waiting for the world to end and has been looking for the signs and has jumped the gun a lot,
a number
and
of
often
times,
and frequently, right? I could really see this being your year, right? Like this seem like the year where everything's just coming together for some sort of end of world cult to just like be like, yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it means.
I want to know if this bandwagon is going to just heat up over time. It feels like, especially if please Donald Trump loses the election. Oh my God, this is going to the end of the universe predictions are going to get spicy.
It's going to be a thing.
It's a hell of a thing.
It's a hell of a thing. But and we've talked about this before on the show, which is like this impulse that so many religious types have. And to be honest, you also just see a fascination with it in popular media, right? Like there's so many
of
disaster
the end of the world
movies, and yeah, exactly, and just like that, it's all gonna come crashing to an end, and humanity, human beings, clearly have some fascination with this.
It seems like we, just as a species, because we see end of the world predictions and end of the world like worries in all sorts of different cultures going back thousands of years. It seems to be a thing that humans just do a lot. We just feel like the entire world is going to end. So I wonder what that's about. I mean,
is it an extension of just sort of our general existential angst that we all clearly suffer from, right?
That was one of the great inventions of humanity, the existential angst. We did a great job on that one.
I know.
I feel like it is to do with that. I feel like it's to do with this notion. I don't know. Like every human being at some point in their life encounters something that rocks their sense of how the universe works or how the world works.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think our listeners can identify with that more than most, because a lot of our listeners left a religion that was terrifying to leave, or had to deal with the fallout of that sort of momentous.
It was probably
thing.
wonderful to leave.
Well, yeah, but like there's a lot of
the fallout. Yeah,
yeah. There's a lot of negative stuff that can go. That doesn't necessarily, but can go along with that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I feel like maybe the human psyche, just one of the ways that it deals with loss or massive change, or going back. Maybe a famine, or the crops not coming in, or the rain's not coming when they needed to. I mean, that had to feel cataclysmic. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and doesn't it feel a little bit better to not be alone in destruction? Right. So, like, if your world sucks, right, and you're facing doom and calamity. Don't you just want to have everybody else along for the ride?
Right? Just, you guys have to do this too. This isn't just my apocalypse. This is everybody's.
It's not just my shitty life.
Well, I mean, it's the guy on the airplane, right? It's I'm going to kill us all if you don't believe in Black Jesus. If I'm going down, then it can't just be me. It's got to be the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah. I mean, that works with like most people's sense of self, right? Like,
right.
That everybody is their own center of their universe.
Well,
right?
And that's appropriate. It gets a little out of control when you get narcissists like Donald Trump, who who can't imagine that the world doesn't care about his feelings, that the whole world doesn't care more about what's going on inside of him than what's going on in the rest of the country and beyond. So, I don't know. It's I just feel like the end of the world, maybe there's something to this idea that when a lot of end of the world predictions are happening, it says something about the current sort of zeitgeist. It says something about how humans are feeling in our culture right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yes, I completely know what you mean about the fact that, I don't know, maybe it would just be nice.
Right?
If a comet came and just knocked us all out. Like, it would almost just be for our own good.
Just take care of business, comet. Come on.
This part of the galaxy, like, we don't want to be a multi-planet like species. I'm sorry, no, we want to be a multi-planet species. The galaxy does not want us to be a multi-planet species because we suck at all of it.
We're bad at this.
We're just shitty.
Oh my God.
We have such a hard time getting along with each other. We have such a, like, we're so yeah. Anyway,
I'm reading a book right now called Fantasyland by a guy named Kurt Anderson, and it's a brilliant sort of explication of why America is that way. Why, like, if any of you are foreign listeners and want like sort of a deep dive into why are they like that, it's a really good one. I highly recommend it. But yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing more American than everybody. You know, it's this idea. It's why Mormonism is kind of the perfect American thing, and why Mormons defying their own religion to not wear masks makes some sense, because everyone in America thinks that they've got it figured out. Everybody in America thinks that their opinion is just as valid as anybody else's, regardless of how uninformed it is, regardless of how little they've done to earn that opinion. It's just as valid as everybody else's here in America. So everybody's downfall is also like, if you personally are going through upheaval, might as well be the end of the world.
Yeah. Misery loves company, right?
I guess so. Well, kids, if you have anything you'd like to add to this, please write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click on that like button.
And while you're there, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but we will let you in. Also find us on Twitter @TGIAtheist.
Speaking of social media, thanks for everybody that helps us out there.
And a big thanks goes out to the Red Rock Hot Club and to Gordon Johnston for the use of their music.
And thanks to all of you for tuning in. We sure do appreciate you.
Bye-bye.